Hello class, this is a continuation of the previous chapter Nationalism in India CBSE class 10, and today's topic is Civil Disobedience Movement. First of all, we will try to understand the background of Civil Disobedience Movement. In 1922, Mahatma Gandhi had called off the non-cooperation movement. After that, C.R. Das and Motilal Nehru, they formed a party called Swaraj Party within the Congress Party, and they wanted to continue with council politics. As we have already discussed in our previous class, that the council elections were boycotted during non-cooperation movement. But the young leaders like Jawaharlal Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose, they wanted more radical mass agitation in order to get complete freedom. And after that, during 1926 to 1930, agricultural prices decreased considerably in India, and it was the effect of the worldwide economic depression. At that time, in many parts of the country, there were droughts and famine, which is why the peasants, they were unable to pay the revenue by 1930. So because of the worldwide economic depression, the rural economy had totally collapsed. Now let us try to understand about Simon Commission. In 1928, the British government set up a commission under the chairmanship of Sir John Simon, and the commission was supposed to look into the functioning of constitutional system in India and suggest changes. There were 7 members in the commission, but not a single member from India was included in the commission. Which is why the Indian leaders, they were not happy with the decision made by the British government. And the commission arrived in India in 1928, and the commission was greeted with the slogan of "Go back, Simon." I have some pictures for you to show you how Indians, they protested against the Simon Commission. So here you can see, this is the second picture, and you can see it has been written in Hindi, Simon Wapas Jao, which means go back, Simon. After seeing the situation, Viceroy Irwin announced dominant status for India, but it did not satisfy the Indian leaders. Now what is dominant status? Dominant status means an autonomous communities within the British Empire. Finally, in December 1929, the Lahore Congress session was held under the chairmanship of Jawaharlal Nehru, and it demanded for complete freedom for India. And this Lahore session declared that 26 January 1930 would be celebrated as the Independence Day of India. As the day of independence failed, which was 26th of January 1930, Mahatma Gandhi sent a letter to Viceroy Irwin stating 11 demands, including the removal of salt tax. Mahatma Gandhi found salt as a powerful symbol which could unite the whole nation, especially the Hindus and the Muslims. He wanted to show the suppressive face of British Raj in India by raising the issue of salt. He started his famous march from Sabarmati Ashram to Dandi. It was a small place in a coastal area of Gujarat, and it has been said that he walked almost 240 miles with his 78 followers. And after reaching Dandi, he manufactured salt by boiling seawater on 6th of April 1930, and it was the official announcement of Civil Disobedience Movement. I have some pictures for you to show you how Mahatma Gandhi, he walked with his followers and manufactured salt out of seawater. Now, let us look at the participation of the people during the Civil Disobedience Movement. In many parts, salt was manufactured and demonstrations were held in front of government salt factories which promoted the local manufacturing of salt. Foreign goods were boycotted and liquor shops were picketed. This strategy was adopted during the time of non-cooperation movement also. And peasants refused to pay revenue and chowkidari taxes. Now what is chowkidari tax? The peasants, especially in the rural areas, they had to pay tax to the British government in order to get security from the colonial rule. Or the police, they were deployed in the rural areas. For that, the Indians, they had to pay the tax. And in many places, people violated forest laws by collecting wood and taking their cattle for grazing, which was prohibited by the British rule in India. Now, let us look at how the government took oppressive measures to control the movement. Many leaders were arrested, like Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, Mahatma Gandhi. They were arrested, and the structures which symbolize British rule were all attacked by the people of India. Many people lost their lives, including women and children, and the official records say that around 1 lakh people were arrested during civil disobedience movement. On 5th of June 1931, Mahatma Gandhi signed a pact with Viceroy Irwin in order to participate in the second roundtable conference in London. The government had agreed to release political prisoners arrested during the civil disobedience movement. In December 1931, Mahatma Gandhi went to London but returned disappointed because he was not happy with the decisions made at the conference. He restarted the movement, which by 1934 had lost its momentum because of the lack of interest shown by the people of India. Here is a picture which was taken at the second roundtable conference in London. So now I hope you have an idea about civil disobedience movement. Till we meet in the next video, be studying and thank you for watching.